All right, we've got the market data in through the end of November 2024. And whether you're a real estate agent in the Boise area or you have clients who are moving to the Boise area, here's the top 3 things you need to know about what's happening in our market today. Number 1, inventory is up and closings are up. And of course, last but not least, pendings are up. So, what does this mean for you? What does this mean for your clients? If you want to find that out, watch the rest of this video. All right, bring on the data. Let's dig in here. So I've got the existing home report. And obviously, if you're looking on a screen, your phone or whatever, you might not be able to see this. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and then I'll just kind of do my best to explain. So let's start with active listings, pending sales, and closed sales. So first of all, year over year, inventory is actually up. 852 listings is what we ended November with. That's actually up 17% year over year. We had 727 the same time last year. So you might be thinking, wow, inventory's, up. So that must mean the market's softening or whatever. Well, let's go ahead and look at pendings. When we look at pendings, we have 427 pending going in through the end of November. We had 338 through the end of November 2023. So pendings are up 26% year over year. And then when we look at closings, we have 461 homes close in November. And we had 380 the same time last year. So closings are actually up 21%. So while the inventory is only up 17, closed and pending's up 21 and 26%, which is pretty good to see. I mean, it's a very, very healthy market is what I would suggest. So as we back out, we're almost through the end of the year. The average sold price is $610,000 for Ada County. And then when we look at the average months of supply, we can zoom in here a little bit and see, that we have 1.8 months of supply. So that means if we had no new listings in Ada County, we would have 0 months of supply. We have no homes on the market. Over 1.8 months. So this is a very strong number still. In our historical measures of how we look at inventory, when we look at a scenario about how many months of supply we have, we typically say a balanced market is between 5 and 7 months supply. So over 7 months, big buyer's market. Under 5 months, typically a seller's market. We're at 1.8 months, so that would suggest seller's market. There is kind of a little bit of a dilemma, though, because even though it is a seller's market, it depends on the price range. When you start to dig in, I'll kind of zoom back into the spreadsheet here. If you look over $2 million, they're negotiating 4.2%. So the original, the sold price to the original is 95.8%. But you get up here under 600K and it's 99% or higher. So every market's operating a little bit differently in terms of how it's being responded to. Obviously, the less inventory there is, the less negotiations you have. This is why you want to arm yourself with a real estate professional that knows what they're doing. And if you are a real estate professional watching this, because I know a lot of real estate agents do watch this video, you need to understand this data. You should be looking through this data in whatever format you get it and really, truly understand it so you can educate your buyers. Now, you might be thinking as a buyer, you're like, well, I want to get the best deal there is. So let's go lowball and this and that and the other. I can tell you from experience, that is not going to be the best solution for you. Because what ends up typically happening is one of two things. Let's just say we're looking at under 600,000 and we're getting 99% asked to sell, right? On average. That doesn't mean you can get 1% off every time. You might have a brand new listing that has 5 offers and it goes above the asking price. You might also have a listing that's been sitting on the market for 4 or 5 months and you can get significantly better than 1% off. Maybe you get 3, 4, 5, 6% off. But if you have a veteran agent or someone that knows what they're doing and how to operate the market, they can really help you get the home you want at the price that makes sense. And that's not always going to mean they got a deal or negotiated off the price. I can tell you story after story of, unfortunately, just being in the position I'm in this business. I deal with a lot of agents. I coach and educate and train. And so I hear all the stories. You'll get an agent that doesn't really know what they're doing. They get a client who thinks they know what they're doing, and then they go to a house and they write an offer and they don't get accepted. And then they do this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Here's what happens to the buyer. A lot of times the buyer says, hey, this market's too tough, I'm out. Right? And they never buy something. Or the agent gets burned out and fires the client because the client won't do what they need to do to get a home sale. And it's all about educating the buyer themselves. And so, like I said, if you're a buyer in this market, you really need to understand what it is you're looking at. And there's so many little nuances that can change that. Days on market matter. The desirability of the property matters. The amount of inventory that's significantly similar to the same home that you're buying matters. So all these little nuances that change, you really got to understand what that means. And as inventory is fluctuating, I zoomed in on that inventory sheet there, you guys need to realize that the market changes every day. You know, at City Trees Real Estate, we're going to sell around 350 homes this year. I can tell you the market we started this year with versus the market we ended, way different. We would be educating our buyers differently today than we were, you know, this same time 11, 12 months ago. And it changes all the time. So if you need to understand more about this market, you know, make sure you reach out to a real estate agent, or if you are a real estate agent yourself, reach out and let us know how we can help. We want to make sure you get this data in front of you so you can make an informed decision to get the best deal for you. Now, I haven't said this in a while. It's been a little bit. I want to round this out. We get to ask this question all the time. Hey, Chase, is now a good time to buy real estate? Now, just full disclosure, there isn't really a good answer to that, but there are a couple good questions you can answer that can help you. So the first one is, do you have a good enough reason to go buy real estate? Don't just buy real estate to buy real estate. You know, I mean, unless you're a seasoned investor that really understands what you're doing and you're buying real estate on schedule, you know, that is a completely different story. By and large, if you're watching this video, most of you shouldn't just be buying real estate to buy real estate. You should have a really, really good reason. You know, maybe you need a bigger house because your family's growing, or maybe you need to downsize because, you know, you're an empty nester now, or maybe you need to get closer to work, or you want a little bit more peace and quiet and you need to move out of neighborhoods, whatever. It doesn't matter. Do you have a good enough reason? That's question number one. Question number two, very simple. Can you afford it? If you have a good enough reason and you can afford it, then buy with confidence. Do not try to time the market. There's a wise saying that says timing the market is a fool's errand. You know, the only time you know when the market is at the bottom is after it starts going back up. And the only time you know it's at the top is once it starts going down. And everything else is just a lucky guess. So the people that are timing markets, or they can tell you they can time markets, you know, maybe if they're a multi-trillionaire, they can time the market. But outside of that person, I probably wouldn't listen to anyone. Ask yourself those two questions and buy with confidence. Now, if you're selling in this market, experience matters as well. So interview real estate professionals, find out what they're going to do to get your home the most exposure, what they do to help negotiate the best deal for you, and then how they're going to support you in whatever the transition looks like, whether that's buying the next home or, you know, whatever the case may be. So many different ways that real estate professional, a good one, can help you out. So thank you guys for getting all the way to the end of this video. You know, as always, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us or myself or your favorite City Trees real estate professional. We'd love to help you out. We'll see you with the year-end recap this time next month. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.